My wife, 32, and I, 27, experienced some relationship problems caused by an ex-boyfriend of hers that I believe to still be affecting us today. For some context, we first met when we were studying overseas and working part-time together at the same restaurant. I'm from Australia and she is from France. After a few shifts together, we became friends and then eventually started dating. I was 19 and she was 24 at the time. We dated for a little over 3 years before moving back to my home country, and 2 years after moving, we decided to get married. The problem started when my wife and I just got engaged. We decided to do the obligatory social media announcement posts informing everyone about our exciting news. Around a week later, when I was sent a message request by an Instagram account I didn't know, but saw that my wife and the person followed each other, so I thought it was one of her old school friends or something and decided to accept the request. By then, I had gotten over 100 messages from my wife's friends and family. I'd never met congratulating us, so I was expecting this message request to be more of the same. Instead of a congratulatory message and an introduction as to who they were, I was sent a bunch of screenshots of messenger chats that were in French and a message that followed saying that I should read these conversations to know how my fiancé is. I was feeling that something was a bit off, but still believing that this person was a family member or friend of my wife that's English wasn't very good. I decided to translate the screenshots to be able to respond to them. Naively, I translated them to think that they'd just be some cute messages to only read that it was conversations between two people. The topics included the recounting of sexual encounters, the sexual acts that they had performed, boyfriends, and how inferior Asian guys are to white guys. I am Asian, by the way. I sent a message back to the person asking who the messages were between. They replied, saying that it was my new SL*T wife, and sent 3 sex tapes. I was in shock, and immediately, thoughts that she had cheated on me filled my mind. After sitting for a while and trying to comprehend what had happened, I decided that I would watch the videos to try to see if it is actually my wife in them. Later that night, after my wife had fallen asleep, I decided to watch the videos believing that there would be no way that the woman I had been living with for 5 years could do something like this. But to my disappointment, I confirmed that all videos were of her. The first 2 of the videos appear to have the same guy and the third video and a different guy. To say I was furious was an understatement. I had literally watched the woman I wanted to spend the rest of my life with fucking not one, but 2 other guys. The most painful and infuriating things for me was seeing her acting in ways she never did with me, and also doing certain sexual acts with other guys that I really wanted to try, but she downright refused to do with me even after 5 years of dating and a proposal. I decided that I needed to confront her. Thinking that she had cheated on me with a bunch of other guys, I wanted her to explain to me why she did it. After staying awake and waiting through the entire night and not being able to waiting anymore, I woke her up at 6 a.m. and showed her everything that was sent to me and asked her to explain what this all was. She immediately started hyperventilating, then began to cry. She kept repeatedly apologizing and begging me not to leave her and was like this for a good 10 minutes. After managing to calm her down, she explained that she never cheated on me and these videos were taken before we had met and that she didn't even know these videos existed. She also tried reassuring me that the messages were between her and her best friend and they would share everything about their lives with each other. She said the things they talked about were from so long ago that it felt like a different person had written the messages. She kept repeating that the things she said in those messages made her feel deep shamed and regret. It was so embarrassing to her that she ever acted and spoke like that. To try prove she wasn't cheating, she showed me the chat history between her and her best friend and found the exact same sections of the conversations and the messages between them and saw that they were from long before we had met. She also explained to me that the guy who sent me the message on Instagram was her first boyfriend from high school in France. He was apparently very emotionally and mentally manipulative during the time they were together, and for her to get any sort of affection or praise from him, she would do what he wanted and let him do whatever he wanted to her. She said she didn't understand how he was able to get the screenshots or the sex tapes that he didn't even take. We eventually came to conclusion that he had hacked into her account somehow. She said that the 2 guys in the videos were short-term Korean boyfriends from when she first moved to overseas. To say I was relieved was an understatement, but I still had the feeling of disgust when I looked at my wife. Over the next few months, I tried pretending that everything was okay, but I couldn't get over what I had seen. She was a completely different woman in my eyes. I know body count shouldn't matter, but reading the messages how many guys she slept with really bugged the shit out of me. We had told each other our body counts in the past, and I wasn't bothered with it at all. She literally could have told me any number, and I think I would have been fine with it as long as it was the truth. But now that I know that not only did she lie about the amount of men she had been with, but the fact that half of those men were guys I knew quite well and considered friends destroyed me. I eventually told her how I felt when she blew up at me one day for not wanting to have sex with her. She started crying again and asked if we should cancel the wedding. I said we should consider it but not act on anything yet, hoping the way I was feeling was just a phase and that I would eventually get over it. The last thing I wanted was for my friends and family to ask why we're not getting married anymore, and me having to explain the things that happened. We agreed to go to couples counseling together with the goals of fixing our relationship and getting married on the date we had set before that shit happened. We found couples counseling to be very helpful, and one of the best things we both liked while at our sessions was we were able to try verbally express what we were feeling and literally have it translated perfectly into a cohesive explanation by our couples counselor. After 10 sessions, we had been given a list of strategies for us to use together to mend our relationship, and I had been referred to a psychologist to some private sessions that I was super beneficial. At this stage, everything was almost much back to as it was before I was sent the messages, but I honestly never quite felt the same or trusted my wife again the way I used to. We did end up going through with the wedding believing that my wife's past shouldn't affect my feelings towards her, and that if we did end up breaking up, it would effectively mean that her ex succeeded in his objective and would have got what he wanted. About a year after our wedding, my wife planned a trip to France to visit all the family and friends. I was originally meant to go with her, but couldn't as I had just been given a promotion and had only been in the position about a month. While she was on her trip, I get another message on Instagram from her ex saying, "She only likes me," followed by another sextape of her. After watching for a few seconds, I just assumed it was another old video that was taken and blocked him. I planned to show my wife what he sent, but ending up totally forgetting about the whole thing. Fast forward to today. We have been married for almost 2 years now and have a baby on the way. During one of her obstetrician appointments that I went to with her, there was talk of her possible due dates and around what day she would have conceived. While sitting there and listening, I was doing the maths in my head and realized something wasn't adding up. The period she would have had to have conceived is when she was back in France to visiting her family. I stayed quiet and convinced myself that I obviously wasn't calculating correctly because I've always been shit at maths. But I had remembered what her ex had sent me and had a gut feeling that something was very wrong. Eventually, my insecurities got the better of me and I ended up watching the video he sent trying to find any clues of when it was taken. Unfortunately, I concluded that the video must have been taken at some point when we were together as I could see a scar on her pubic area that she had given herself by waxing when we were on our honeymoon. After thinking about this for a while, I've decided not to confront her with what I know. I'm not going to ask friends or family for support. I'm not going to go to counseling. The less people that know, the better. I don't think I can live with the shame of people knowing that my wife is giving birth to another man's child. I'm going to wait for the baby to be born to see if it is mine before I make any final decisions. Thank you everyone who read everything I had to say. I really need to get this out, and not being able to tell anyone what I was going through was driving me insane. Edit. I've had a few comments questioning the timeline.